The peace and stillness brought Connie Snow to Henry County.
We wanted to move to a county that would be kind of closer to access to our jobs, and that's why we picked Henry.
But lately, Snow says she's noticed new developments around every corner.
I've noticed that we've got a lot of growth and change going here, but I don't think that it's being done in the best way possible.
The Henry County Board of Commissioners is considering one of the biggest projects in county history, called The Grove. The developer, GeoSam Capital, has plans that would include around 7,000 homes, retail, office, and hotel space, plus 150 acres of parks and paths, and a new fire and police station.
We also will require developments to invest in the infrastructure. It's not going to be on the backs of taxpayers.
Henry County Commission Chair Carlotta Harrell says due to the size of the project, commissioners will want feedback from every county department, including the Water Authority and the school district.
We are going to make sure that as we continue to grow, as development continues to come here, that we are planning along with it.
Harrell says despite a vote of no confidence from the Planning and Zoning Department, commissioners still have the final say. But Snow worries the project might plow ahead without concern to those who call Henry County home.
We need to let our infrastructure catch up first before we go planning these massive developments. We can't keep cramming this around in our county because the impact is going to get a lot more than what we're seeing now.
In Henry County, Joe Ripley, 11 Alive News.
You know, the developer of the Grove says if the project moves forward, it will take around 40 years to fully build out. And of course, we're going to keep you posted on how the vote goes.
With this particular development, I received support during my campaign. So to dispel any appearance of anything that is unethical, I recuse myself from any discussions or decisions or votes concerning this development.
Any other comments from the board?
I have a comment. So if that's the case, I think it would be fair for any other commissioner that have received any campaign contributions from this organization to recuse themselves as well.
County Attorney, can you read what our charter says?
Yes, Madam Chair. Per our ordinance, the ethics ordinance, the conflict of interest, a county official may not participate in a vote or a decision on a matter affecting the official personally, an immediate family member, or any person, entity, or property in which the official has a substantial interest. And in our code, substantial interest means a substantial financial interest.
So that does not include campaign contributions.
Per our code, it states that any substantial interest can be whether a direct benefit is reached by you or your family, any person or their family members, whether a person has a contractual relationship that receives any payment or benefit, including employment, whether the entity or the official member has immediate family members that are shareholders, as well as whether there's an immediate family member or the official is a creditor, debtor, or grantor of any person who's applying for any action from the commission.
So I'd like to ask for Henry County, this is this planning and zoning item ULDC AM-24-03 is a public hearing. Kamal, are you going to be presenting this case today?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Put 5 minutes on the clock, Stephanie. Thank you, Sherry.
First of all, I want to thank you guys for the extension in time, given that this meeting was bumped up to 4 o'clock versus later in the evening. As you know, it was a challenge for most residents to get out here. With that being said, my name's Connie Snow, and I'm with Conserve Henry. For those who are opposed to this development, will you please stand? I'm speaking on behalf of everybody standing, along with the over 2,000 signatures on the Conserve Henry petition. Given that this was denied on January 9th in Planning and Zoning, and given that this meeting was rushed through, we asked the county to delay approvals and hold a series of educational meetings to go over the details and the drawings and to allow Q&A session and to rally support from the community rather than making a decision on some renderings today. I'd also like to note that GeoSam, who's over this development, is essential in providing financial support for state of the county events. They were listed as the transition team when Chair Harrell had came into office. There's actually an article on that, and they are listed on that transition team. So I do believe that there is some conflicts of interest going on with this property. Thank you. I'm going to bring up a couple of things. This is in a water critical area. There is a barge water feasibility letter that is in this applicant's documents. It clearly defines that by doing this, it's going to cause grave damage to our water in regards to our capacity, drinking water, and stormwater. The developer was asked to put in $11 million in infrastructure repairs for the sewer and water area. And it is my understanding, based on the minutes of that meeting, that they have to pay for it. That's what's usually normally required in Henry County. However, yet today, that developer has not even paid any of that. The only thing they have paid is the over $300,000 for the water feasibility study, which clearly states that by doing this, you're going to cause water pressure issues for us. You're going to end up causing our bills to go up higher. Our drinking water is going to be contaminated. We're going to have poor flow, and we're going to have a fire water safety risk. It's clearly stated in that document. Let's see, what else? Another thing I want to point out is that if we truly care about the citizens of this county, this meeting would have been scheduled at a time other than 4 p.m. at the normal meeting times that we're used to. I feel like this, and I'm pretty sure everybody else will echo the same sentiment here, that by scheduling this at 4 p.m., it feels like we're being tricked and duped in the hopes that none of us would show up so this could be easily approved and passed. And one last thing is, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. I urge you guys to table this, to give this more time, to have more discussions with the community. Because while this developer spoke to people in the Lake Talmadge area, he hasn't spoken to everybody in that area that's going to be impacted. And that's about it. Thank you.
Commissioner Wilson.
Things. When y'all submitted your application for rezoning, you submitted 550 some odd pages of documents. Within them documents, there's 25 pages of development agreement. County Manager, have you read through the development agreement?
No, sir. I have not reviewed the entire development.
How about our county attorney? Have you reviewed this development agreement?
Yes, Commissioner, myself and you prior to county attorneys have looked at that.
Because I got some questions about it. There's on page 14. There's a clause right there, item I. It says, "The grove shall be exempt from the following design, development, and use standards." Then it lists a lot of standards, and one of those standards says of the ULDC stream buffer protection. Right? Then it goes on to say that no buffers around any wetlands. You shall be, so it says there shall be no buffers around the wetlands. So this document right here needs to be reviewed by more than just the Board of Commissioners. There's a lot of language in this 25-page document that I think is going to give y'all a lot of leeway in a 40-year development. Now, that being said, another thing that concerns me is the county services. Now, if you start this project and there's residents that live in this project, then there's a downfall. Our public safety, along with other county services, have to service that area. Who's paying for that? It will be our current taxpayers. We will be paying for the services rendered to this development till you're complete. You said it's going to take you 40 years. So within all your documents you submitted, you also submitted campaign disclosure forms. Some from 2022, then there was 3 commissioners that were mentioned, and there was 2024, and there was 1 commissioner, and are those updated?
Those were submitted before we made our campaign contributions to Commissioner Price, who obviously refused.
So I'm saying they're not updated.
I wasn't asked to
Okay,
update
so
them.
they're not on you. They're not
Okay,
in your
yeah.
paperwork.
Sure.
So there's a lot of concerns about this master development agreement, what you can and can't do and what you shall be exempt from. So this is something I think needs to be tabled till we can figure out everything that you're asking and what you shouldn't get and what you should get. Because 542 pages of documents and we received this on Thursday. That's a lot of documents to go through. Now, some of them are just quoting codes and stuff, but that's a lot of reviewing. And it takes a lot of time to go through and call out the things that we think that you're not eligible for. But I really think there's a lot of workshops that need to be done to where we're exactly clear what we're fixing to give you the ability to do in a development agreement. That's just my thoughts.